All right, and I can now let you know that we are ready to get into the Tetris Effect Connected run. And with that, I will hand you over to tempfelix to start introducing that run. So yeah, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Cactus. I'm very much looking forward to being here today and to kick off the last day of Archiethon. It's going to be a really exciting day of runs. I'm going to start it off with Tetris Effect Connected, which is one of my absolute favorite games. I think I should be all ready. I have my lemon shirt on. I'm a big lemon fan. I have my Kermit in the background to cheer me on, so it should be a nice run. And we're going to go right through journey mode today. This is going to be a playthrough of the normal difficulty. And we are going to start right at the very beginning in the deep. And we're just going to go right through. We're going to play through all of these stages. And we're going to have a good time. I'm going to get right into it. And here we go. Typically, time would start just when I get control of the first piece. And we are already right in there. So I'm going to be honest, it might take me a little tiny bit to be able to warm up a little bit. A little bit before stream started, but we're going to get right into it. I already have a little bit of a miss drop, but that's okay. Be able to fix that, I think, in due time. I'll go over it in a little bit. To go over like some of the fast strats that you can do in Tetris. There's a good amount of. We're going to do a T-spin just for the fun of it. It does lose a little bit of time, but that's okay. Yeah, feeling it a little bit right now. We're getting right into it. And there we go. That's the very first zone of the game, which is called the Deep. Time of 49 seconds is a little bit slower than I usually would like to be, but in a situation like this, we're all just trying to have a nice time here. I'm not going to worry too much about that. We're already in zone 2 of the game, which I believe is called Pharaoh's Code. One thing that I really like about Tetris Effect Connect is that each stage that you go into has different audio and visuals. The levels like change over a little bit as you're going.
Yeah, this is such a really pretty looking game. I've never played it myself, but I've seen bits of gameplay before, and honestly, I'm always just mesmerized whenever I see it.
I definitely would strongly recommend it. Has good multiplayer modes as well. Most of the time that I spent in Tetris Effect Connected has just been playing against other people online. So that got me through the second zone of the game. There are, I believe, 25 zones, and then there's one more additional zone at the very end, which we will get to in a little bit. I'll do another T-spin double just for the fun of it. I like T-spin doubles. They're kind of the important part of high-level play. In the speedrun that I'm doing here today, we're really just trying to clear as many Tetrises as possible because of line clear delay. And line clear delay refers to the fact that every time I clear a line, whether it's a single, a double, a triple, or a Tetris, I have to wait a little bit, about half a second, before I can start controlling the next piece. And we really want to minimize those as much as possible. And so clearing only Tetrises is the best way of doing that. And at the kind of the bottom middle of the screen, it shows me how many lines I have to go. So I have 32 out of 36. Drop the Tetris down, and we're clearing the third zone of the game, the Karma Wheel, and going on to Area 2. It shows me my results here briefly. Have an A rank, which is the highest you can go is an SS rank, but that's based on your overall score in the zone. Go on to the next area here. Yeah, the indicator in the bottom left of the screen. Excuse me. No, it is the bottom left. I am correct. Is the zone meter. It's going to be at max for the entire run. The zone lets you kind of pause the game and clear a whole bunch of lines as a group. It gives you a huge score bonus, but actually because you're pausing time, it's really bad in a speedrun situation. None of those lines actually count for your progression in the zone. They're really beautiful level. A little high up here, a little scary. Okay. Got to a clean 36 out of 36 there. The board state stays the same between each zone. And here we win the with a whole bunch of flag windmills, which I kind of like. Board state stays exactly the same. So it doesn't matter if I build up too high because I can just clear those lines in the next world of the game.
Yeah, wow, it always impresses me just kind of how high you can build it and not be stressed, and also how quickly you can just kind of break it back down afterwards.
I would say I'm a little bit stressed sometimes, depending on how high it gets, but here.
Yeah, that's very fair.
So this one I cleared 37 out of 36 lines, and that's kind of unfortunate. The lines don't carry over, so I don't start this zone like 1 out of 36. So that line just kind of goes away. So that's a few pieces that essentially I just played without getting any benefit from. Worst thing would be to get like a 39 out of 36 if I clear Tetris with only 1 line left. So try to do that as little as possible. In that case, I had to clear a few lines. There's a whole bunch of singles back-to-back, incurring line delay, or line clear delay a few times. Not a huge deal, but I mean, coming from a Celeste background where we're talking about strats that, save 0.3 and that are almost required, losing 0.5 just to place a piece down in Tetris is not super ideal. 33 out of 36, we can actually, there we go. If we do that with one of the L or J pieces, you can clear 3 lines just without clearing the extra 4th, which is kind of what I was going for there. I have a good memory to the hold queue and the next queue are the same in each level, so you can kind of remember what the next pieces are going to be.
Nice. We do have a $5 donation come in from Jada Funk that says, tempfelix's lemon catbot wanted to donate too. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, Jada. And Cactus, I know you said before that we have the donation goal for the Heart Play Around. That's something that I'm pretty excited about and hoping I'll be able to show off today. Get 36 out of 36 exactly. So most people think of a Tetris as like either like a speed game or something that's like a puzzle game, but you can actually use Tetris for things like artistic creation. It's something that I've been practicing for a little bit, and that'll be cool to show off today. Get to area 2 here, time of just over 5 minutes. Kind of hard to time Tetris Effect with like live split or anything because the board state stays the same. So like if I build up really high here, it'll be I'll have like a head start on the next zone. So like things like gold splits, that sort of thing. Really just dependent on where you are on the board at that time. Other than that, I don't really have live split for this game.
Yeah, I'd also be super looking forward to seeing that heart showcase towards the end of the run. So yeah, if we could get those donations coming in, that would be really fantastic and give tempfelix a chance to show that off towards the end.
I'm doing a couple pieceman doubles here. I just can't help myself sometimes. It's like a good part of high-level play, especially in like online versus mode, and if you're trying to get high scores, pieceman doubles are very important. So sometimes I see the opportunity for one, I just have to go for it. Much fun.
My knowledge of Tetris lingo and tech is not that great, but is that where you sort of like spin the T piece under a gap that you wouldn't just be able to slide it into normally?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just did one right there. It gives you a score bonus, and it gives you as many points as a Tetris would. It only clears 2 lines, so if you're trying to get really high scores, it's very efficient for the amount of points that you get like per piece that you're playing down. In terms of like time, you have to soft drop a piece, which takes a little bit more. One thing that I'm doing that I probably could mention is that every piece that I'm dropping down here, I want to use hard drop 4, which is my space key. That just drops the piece down to the bottom of the board immediately. And it's a lot faster than holding down to make the piece just slowly fall to the ground, or even worse, just not doing anything. This is one of my favorite stages. This is Downtown Jazz. And in this stage, you're basically like creating jazz music with a piece that you're playing down. Each like key press that you do has an effect on the music. And if I just briefly stop playing, it doesn't sound quite as good. Well, you'll forgive the time loss, but I really like this stage. One more Tetris will do it. We'll get right out of Downtown Jazz. I believe we have one more zone after this for Area 3, and then we'll get another, hopefully an A rank. Not that it matters too much for the speed that we're trying to get.
Yeah, no, the visuals in this game are absolutely fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of people saying the same in the chat, but yeah, it's just a really kind of gorgeous looking game. It's really, I'm just like mesmerized by it, all the colors and lights and stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And to be honest, I'm running it on really not like the highest quality graphic settings. So if you have a copy of this game, you have like a really powerful PC, it can look absolutely incredible. It was really nice for me too. I've been a Tetris fan my whole life. Before I got into Celeste speedrunning, I did a lot of Tetris playing, and to see like the amount of completed the zone already before I was even noticing. But to see a Tetris game like this that was created with so much like care and just trying to make like the best game possible with that's also a really good Tetris game, just such a fan of it. That brings us to the end of Area 3. We have 3 more to go. And then the final stage, which is Metamorphosis, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We're back to a clean board there. I'm slowing down a little bit just because I'm trying to figure out the best way to like fix these little imperfections in my board, like fill in all the holes and everything. This is a really interesting speed game for me, just because it's both like it's like a test of how fast you can press the keys and everything, but also just like how fast you can think through where you want to place all these pieces. 37 out of 36. We cleared an extra line there. The board's not in a great state either, so we'll have to clean that up a little bit here.
We do have another $5 donation coming in from Dragonite13 with a comment less than 3. You've got that heart going on. So thank you so much for that donation, Dragonite. Really appreciate it. And yeah, so we are $80 away from the heart play around, and also $80 away from reaching a $5,000 grand total for the marathon so far. So it'll be really, really cool if we can reach that by the end of this run, see the heart play around, and have raised $5,000 for TEP. We're all doing some fantastic work so far, and it's much appreciated. So yeah, let's keep those donations coming in. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support so far.
There we go. So we were able to clean up my board a little bit there. We're back to 36 out of 36 lines. This is about the point in the game where the speed starts to become a little bit of an issue. At the high level, Tetris really, the speed doesn't affect the game too much, but every once in a while it will affect like how easily I'm able to put a piece where I want it to go. And some of the later stages here, that scared me a little bit. We're back. Fortunately, if you die in Tetris Effect, you just replay the stage again. It's not a huge deal. Trying for the absolute top level times, you probably just want to reset the run at that point. But in terms of a marathon like this, we're not going to lose too much progress. We'll clear with a T-spin double just for the fun of it. Some of these stages, the speed level actually varies from like fast to slow within the course of the zone. It can be kind of jarring to deal with. So if you're expecting like a piece to drop down slowly and it just rockets right to the bottom of the board immediately. So I ended up clearing another T-spin double there. So I said before that it does lose a little bit of time because you have to soft drop the piece, but weird place to put that block. But depending on where you are, sometimes it's better to just clean up your board and incur like a little bit of time loss just to have a nice clean board to get more Tetrises later. Tetrises, of course, being so important because you minimize line clear delay as much as possible. Well, that's really cool music too.
Yeah, so it seems like there's a lot of kind of reacting to the state of the board and planning around that to try and think about what it's going to set you up with in the future in this run. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I really like about modern Tetris games is that that was not the piece that I thought I had. There's very strong conditions around what pieces you're going to get next. It uses bag randomization, which means you get every piece once, and then it goes on, you get like the group of pieces again. So it gives you really, you can make assumptions about what you're going to get next. If you've ever played like the NES Tetris, for example, you might really want to get a line piece going to get a Tetris, and it just like, you'll never see it. And as soon as you block the well, you'll get a Tetris at that point, and it's just so annoying. But in modern Tetris games, that really doesn't happen. I'm guaranteed that I'll get each piece, eventually. And there's also the hold piece, which I'm using a whole lot. I leveled up, cool. That's just like a casual thing, but we'll take that. And the hold piece, which is a piece in the top left corner of my board. I can take any piece that I have and kind of hold it for later. So if I really want to get like a Tetris or something, or even just I want to hold like a valuable piece, like the T piece, which is really good for filling in holes, just hold on to it for later, and then makes the game a lot easier to work with, and you're not just like always worrying like, oh, am I going to get a line piece in time? Just store in for later. Makes it a lot more comfortable. Get a little safe at the top of the board. We're in a good shape here to clear exactly 36 out of 36 with that final L piece. Maybe have 1 or 2 levels to go in Zone 4. This is actually the one, it looks just like Celeste's Mountain. Here's another one further on that looks kind of like Celeste in like the reflection level. Always makes me think of that. There we go. We've conquered Celeste Mountain here.
Nice.
And if you're stretching imagination a little bit, this kind of looks like the beginning of Reflection with all the like the plants and stuff. Holding my board really weird here. I need to clear down a little bit. One thing that I'm doing when I'm playing this game, most players will build their Tetris well, which is like the one hole that I'm trying to drop all the line pieces down to get a Tetris. We'll put that either on the right or the left side of the board, and that's definitely the easiest way of going about it. But if you do what's called a 6-3 stack, which means I have 6 blocks on the left side of the well, 3 blocks on the right, and then we'll do it that way. It's actually a little bit better for like the amount of key presses that you need to use to put a piece in any of the different columns, just by a little tiny bit. So it's like a subtle optimization, but if you're able to stack in this manner, you can get like slightly faster time than you would be otherwise. Also really good for like getting high scores as well. If you have your Tetris well in the middle of the board like this, it makes piece spin doubles. It makes them a lot easier to come across. level's kind of fun. You have a couple orbs that are constantly fighting, and if you get like Tetris and such, they will ram into each other. There we go. I can't stop getting T-spin doubles, but they're too much fun. One line to go. We can clear like that. Kind of like a math problem at the end. If I'm gonna think like, should I clear an extra line or should I take an extra instance of line clear delay to fix that hole in the next level? Probably a good answer for it, but it's also one of those things where playing Tetris, you really want to go just as fast as possible, and if you're spending an extra couple seconds to decide where the best place you could put a piece is, you just kind of slam it down and hope you'll catch up later, be able to deal with that hole you made. This level, the speed starting to become a little faster.
Yeah, it's like, I think initially like hard to notice as someone who doesn't play this game because you're like dropping them down quickly as soon as you decided what you're doing with them. But then yeah, not having that little bit of extra time at the start to like make that decision, I can see that definitely really coming into things a bit more now.
Yeah, absolutely. The game has a lot of like really nice mechanics to let you place, like once a piece hits the ground, you can still slide it back and forth a little bit. So it's not a huge deal, but there are like some advanced techniques you can do. Or like I have a piece in hold, so I can like drag my piece against the wall to build up the called DAS, and that will let me like rocket ship the piece over to the side of the board. And so DAS stands for delayed auto shift. And it's kind of like if you type on a keyboard, you press down a key once, it will only type the key once, but if you keep it held down, after a small delay, it will then start just spamming the key a whole bunch. That's a pretty important component of high-level play. Keep that like charged as much as possible. So like, I want to place 2 or 3 pieces on the same side of the board, and just keep the button held down, and I don't have to worry about like just tapping the key really fast. There's some games like NES Tetris where DAS is so slow that you, at the very highest level, really need to tap in order to get the pieces over. Luckily, Tetris Effect is not one of those kind of games.
I've got a challenge for you, the viewers at home, if you feel so inclined. I'd like to challenge you to start a donation train and send in a donation telling us what your favorite Tetris piece shape is of the different ones. I don't know if they have real names, or I mean, I'm sure some of them do, or I don't know their real names at least. But yeah, let me know what your favorite Tetris piece is. I'm curious.
That's an excellent question. They have kind of sort of names, really just based on the shape they are. So there is the S and the V pieces, which is the green and red, the O piece, which is a block, the T piece, which is a purple T-shaped piece, there's L and J, the orange and blue ones, and then the I piece, which is the long Tetris piece. My favorite is actually the T piece, this purple one here. You might think it might be the Tetris piece, especially because we want to clear so many Tetrises in this run. But this T piece is really invaluable for cleaning up holes. It's useful basically anywhere. You can lay it down flat. You can use it to like fill holes in the board, and you can even use it for the valuable T-spin double. So I think that's my favorite.
Nice. I quite like the green and the red, the little like zigzag shaped ones. I enjoy the shape of them, and I think they're really nice colors in this game as well. We do have an anonymous $10 donation come in that says, GL Felix, let's see the harp play around. And yeah, I do agree. Let's get that harp play around there.
Yeah, I sure hope we get there, and thanks for the good luck. Yeah, the S and Z pieces, the green and red, they're such beautiful colors, and if we do end up getting to the harp play around, we'll see a whole lot of the Z pieces. Always get that confused in my head. From an actual Tetris perspective, they're some of the hardest pieces to deal with. You can't like put them on flat ground. And so if you're trying for like a really fast time in like in the sprint mode, which is the fastest you can clear 40 lines, at the S and the Z piece to start, there's really no good spot to put them, and a lot of players will just reset the run at that point and just wait for like a better start. Lines to go, and a T piece will just do that exactly. And this is what zone are we in? I think we're getting towards the end. I believe we're in Stratosphere right now. Just based on my time, the in-game time here, my PB for this category is I think just under 20 minutes, based on like the in-game time rules. We're getting towards the end here. This is when the speed starts getting a little bit trickier. There are like 3 different categories you can play for the speedrun and Tetris Effect Connected. There's beginner, normal, which is what I'm doing, and then I think it's called expert. There's not a huge difference between the categories. The major one is the amount of lines that you have to clear in each zone. So in this one I have 36 lines to clear. I think beginner is 30, and then I think the advanced or expert is like 40, or I think it is 40, yeah. It just makes the category a little longer, and the higher you go in the difficulty, the speeds become even more of an issue. And I only got a B rank that time, but that's just okay. The time is actually pretty good. I think we're going to be a little bit behind my PB, but not significantly. Now we are in Metamorphosis, which is the last level of the game. It's a little bit different than some of the other ones. The goal for this is to clear 90 lines instead of the 36 that it was for every other level. This one, too, I want to make sure to keep the board as low as possible when I get to the end, because previous zones, the board say always carried over, but now, once I cash out of the run, all the extra pieces that I place on top of the board don't get me anything, so I really don't want to build up too high. But I have a little ways to go before that will become an issue. Music in this level is really, really nice. Okay, now the speed's starting to become an issue. I really wanted to put that line piece over to the side, and just couldn't get it there in time. And clean this up before we get to the 90 lines.
Nice, I believe, and yeah, no, I can see that the speed really starting to become. It looks, I mean, from the point of view of somebody who doesn't really play Tetris, it just looks very intimidating to me at this point. So yeah, you're doing great. This is really, really impressive stuff. And again, would love to see you be able to showcase that heart play around at the end there. It's really cool to see kind of your movement and your planning with all the pieces and what you'll be able to do kind of with those in that showcase. So yeah, it would be great if we could get that met by the end of the run.
I will hope so. And that was the end of the official timing of the category. Is when you clear the 90th line in that mode. And now there's like a kind of like a playable epilogue where you can actually see like the zone mode of the game. This is where you clear multiple lines at once. And once you get up to the top of the board, you're just fine. It just brings you back down to the bottom again. That was a 19-line simultaneous clear, which is kind of cool.
We do have, oh, am I muted? No, I'm not, okay. We do have an anonymous $30 donation coming in that says, loving the run, let's see the heart incentive met. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, we are now at, I believe, 55 of $100. So yeah, not that far away from it now. I believe, chat.
That's pretty close.
We can get, yeah, we can get that met by the end of the run. I'm sure. Come on, let's get it. I'm still curious to hear what your favorite Tetris piece is of the whole gang. So yeah, do let me know.
I think this is the last zone of the game, so we'll maybe get one more line cleared and then And that completes the mode. And now we have a nice. I'll let it play out through the credits. It's really stunning. It'll only be like 30 seconds or so, but it's worth it. There we go. Now, sorry, I just have to watch that every time. It's so cool. You fly through all of space. You see all like the dolphin friends that you got. I love it. So that was Tetris Effect Connected Journey Mode. We'll get to see the final results, get an SS ranking, because I think you get that automatically just for completing the mode. We get leveled up to level 46.
Yeah,
and there we go.
GG's.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for showcasing that. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely, no
It's
problem.
really cool. Good to get to see that.
How are we looking for the donation incentive? I heard we were pretty close.
We are close. So we are $55 out of 100, and we are also so close to reaching $5,000 total as well. Let's see if we can get that met really quickly in the next couple of minutes and see that heart showcase. That'll be really fantastic. I do believe. Come on.
Yeah, I think we can do it. Just to hype it up a little bit. If you've the Tetris pieces, they're all a different color, and the goal of this run is to create a heart out of just the red pieces with no other pieces kind of surrounding it. So it takes a lot of like planning. I've been practicing it a good amount. I think we can get there. It's kind of like a fun niche within the Tetris community. There are people who will make like full like pixel art designs, and plan them out, doing like row by row. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. I know a couple of people on Twitter who every time they'll post one of their Tetris art designs, I'm just like blown away by it. But the heart is something that I am reasonably confident enough that I could do for like a live marathon like this. So that's
nice.
That's a pretty cool thing. But you said we're almost at $5,000 as well too, so that's huge.
We are, yeah. It's really fantastic. And I did spot a question in the chat that says, don't know if you're reading chat, but curious how your combo play is, and if there's any chance we can see some before the end of the run. And since we have come in a bit underestimate, I don't really know what combo play means, but if you'd be able to kind of mention that, or perhaps demonstrate and illustrate what is meant by that, that would be really cool.
I can show some combo play off. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, thank you. And we do have $10 coming in from Akko that says, my favorite Tetris piece is the one that fills the hole in my heart. Oh, bless you, Akko, and thank you so much for that donation. Really do appreciate it.
I can show off some combo play here. We'll go into chill marathon mode. I like Starfall. And so there are a few different combo setups that you can do. And a combo refers to any time you clear lines with successive pieces. See if I can, like a quick example. Like right here, if I clear this, that's one line. I just cleared a line with my last piece. So if I clear this, there's a combo, I can clear a line here, combo 2, I can clear a line here, that's combo 3, and now I don't have any more lines that I can clear. So at this point, we are kind of out of a combo at that point. But there are some combo setups that you can do. Typically, anything that you would want to do, they're determined by the size of the well. So this is more or less a 3-wide, and a 3-wide would mean that I have three spaces on the right side of the board, drop pieces down. And for mathematical reasons around the number of blocks that you have, this gives you a very high chance of being able to clear lines with every successive piece. So I can just clear the whole thing down. Actually missed one, but that's okay. And there are different combo setups that you can do based on the size of the well in the middle. And so, actually this is the perfect setup for a 4-wide. And a 4-wide is when you have, when the board is, you have 6 blocks on the left side of the screen, or the right, or the middle, either way. And there's a 4-wide hole in order to drop pieces down. And this is an advanced combo setup, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. The important thing about a 4-wide is to have 3 little blocks at the very bottom in order to make the combo happen. And people have made tables and that sort of thing to make sure that having 3 blocks at the bottom there instead of 2 or 5 or whatever gives you the best chance of being able to continue a combo. Let's see. And you do have to think about it a little bit. I don't love this setup. I might have to rebuild it a little bit because I have the S and the D pieces kind of back to back, but usually have a couple. You can just keep building back up again. That's a bad spot for that block, but that's okay.
Nice. And I'm delighted to inform you that the incentive has now been met. We have had a $35 donation come in from Bean. Thank you so much for that, Bean. And we have both hit the Heart Play Around goal and also surpassed $5,000 raised total. So yeah, thank you very much for that donation. And thank you so much to everyone who's been getting those donations in and supporting us across this weekend so far.
That is absolutely huge. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm super excited. I'll just show off this last combo real quick, and then we'll get right into that. This is a 2-wide. This gives you the best chance. Every piece you can drop down there will give you a combo, but you clear the lines very quickly, and it doesn't give you as high of a combo as you could otherwise. So that was a 9 combo. For reasons based on mathematics, a 5-wide just will never let you actually complete the combo. You can, that's not great, but you can kind of start it, but then not too much you can really do with it. But because we had the donation incentive met, we will be doing a heart play around. And this is a bit trickier. So I'm gonna do my best here, and we'll see if I can get it going. So I have the way that I usually go about this is I want to make a kind of a 4-wide like I was talking about before. And I want it to be 20 lines high exactly. This will work. Oh, this is a good setup. This is nice. And the reason that I want to do this is because I want to drop essentially 3 Z pieces in a row. And because of bag randomization, you get each 7 pieces in order and then each 7 piece again. Because of that, it's guaranteed that you'll never get 3 in a row. So even if I wanted to just sit here and play Tetris all day, which sometimes I do, I'll never see 3 Z pieces in a row. And that makes things a lot easier to build this strategy. So what I do, I build way up, and then I can take every piece that I don't want to make part of the heart and just chuck it over to the right here. And as long as I don't make any big holes, eventually I'll get another Z piece. And at this point, we're already most of the way through the hard part, I say, hoping. And now if I drop an eye piece down there, I can rotate it into that little spot and we'll clear those blocks too, which will be nice. And any other Z piece that I have, let's form part of the heart. And there we go. At this point, I really want to just chuck every Z piece down there while keeping the rest of my board stable enough. And I can do like some things like this to maybe clear a couple lines so I don't get too scared, but I can still drop some Z pieces down there. And one more will do it for this row. There. So now we're kind of most of the way through the heart. I can start filling in some of these holes, and we'll get to the top bits, which I believe is the anatomical term.
Nice.
At this point, I'm just kind of clearing blocks. We'll get right back down to the heart part. And here, I want to create an all clear so I can drop a Z piece right on top. This part's a little trickier. I usually have to kind of go and think about it a little bit. There are parity considerations as well. So I'm trying to create an all clear that's 3 blocks high. Oftentimes it just won't work. So I need to make sure that I have the right number of blocks in the well. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is correct. I'm going to have an extra block here. So I just build up another 3, and this will be correct. I can drop a Z piece up there, which will be the next row of the heart. And once I get a couple more pieces down, I can clear that all nicely. I'll do like that. Now we can just drop some more Z pieces down there. And one more will do this, we'll finish out this row. And rotate. I almost goofed it up, but we're okay. And now just one more run through of that. We can get another all clear here. It looks like there's a Z piece coming up. We'll have to wait a little bit for it. Yeah, and it looks like we'll have to update the parity as well. There's 3 blocks high here instead of the 2 that we were doing before. This is looking good. That block here, and if I can clear out the rest of this little heart design, that's not what I want to do with that piece. We're going to need a couple J pieces. Where it gets a little scary, but should be okay. And then chop it down like that. And if we can clear a couple more lines, we'll get to see the full heart. We are almost there. This is a pretty clean run of it. Maybe I'll clear out those 2 little red blocks.
It's very impressive. I'm struggling to wrap my head around how you can like manipulate and kind of prepare the pieces in such a way. So yeah, really cool that we got to see this. Thank you.
It's fun. It took a little bit of practice for me to figure out exactly how I wanted to pieces down. Sometimes if I'm feeling extra fancy, I try to get like an all clear on top of the heart, but sometimes it just doesn't happen for me. That's okay too. This is almost an all clear. Just teasing me a little bit, but that's okay. I think this was a nice successful run of the heart. Then once you get to the top of the screen, the whole heart explodes, and it's wonderful. There we go. That is the heart play round. Thank you everyone for donating to that. It was something that I'm really looking forward to showing off. So I'm really excited. Thank you very much for having me here, and best of luck to all the rest of the runners today. And yeah, long live Archie. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for showing that off. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention or shout out before we finish with this?
No, I think I should be all set. This is a very fun morning of Tetris for me. I'm going to drink another cup of coffee and then just watch some more Archie today. Thank you very much, everyone. This is a lot of fun for me, and I'm really glad the heart play round went well. Kind of tricky with all the random pieces that are falling down. You never know exactly what's going to happen, but it was pretty clean today, so happy about that. Thank you, everyone.